Welcome back. And no, this is not a coffin. What we have here is a 1907 Victrola talking machine, model VVIX. It is in remarkable condition. It has been completely left original. It has not been restored or anything like that. The turntable is original. The cabinet has never been redone. You can clearly tell on the right side. Yeah, this thing has seen some water damage. It's very unfortunate, but it gives it character though. So I don't know where exactly this was placed. It was probably placed by a window, or maybe it was in a place where the roof leaked and it just happened to drip all down the side. You can see the veneer is coming off, but it gives it character, so you can't complain about that. So, a little bit about this machine. I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace, as you see it, and it also came with a bunch of records. Originally, the person wanted $175 for it. Then they dropped it down to $120, and I said, yeah, I'll buy it, especially if it comes with records. The records alone, depending on the rarity and the popularity of the particular record, the value goes up quite a bit. So I already knew what she was selling, and I already knew that the records had some value to them, and some of them were original to the machine here. So I ended up saying yes, I'll buy it for $120. Didn't even make a counter offer or anything. I show up at her house, and unfortunately, there was some bad news. The record player was broken. It was working, but then it was broken. It turns out her grandson was playing with the crank on the right side and overwound it, and the record player refused to play. It wouldn't play anymore. So she asked me if I was still interested and if I wanted to buy it, and she lowered the price to $85. I bought it anyway, figuring, it's not hard to fix. And these things are so easy to work on. Like, I cannot express the simplicity of the mechanics of these machines. They are so easy. So I took this machine to work and disassembled it and found that the grease that they used back in 1907 had kind of hardened and turned into a thick sludge. It was really, really sticky. And there was so much grease, like chunks of it stuck in the gears and all that, and it wouldn't allow the record player to play, even if it was overwound. I mean, you can't really overwind these things. The only way you can do that is if you wind it up hard enough and then you snap the spring. Well, this is a kid that's probably about the height right there. I mean, you need to be lifting some serious weights in order to do any real damage to this. I mean, this is just a little kid. So I already knew that given the condition of the cabinet and given the condition of the tone arm, the record player itself, how unrestored it is, nothing's been done to it. Even the reproducer is shot. I figured, you know what, I bet you the inside of it has never been cleaned. And sure enough, I cracked it open and it was horrible. It was horrible inside. It was just gross. But the nice thing about this machine though is underneath the turntable is like a cast iron plate where all of the grease drippings from the motor just land on. So it doesn't get all over the cabinet inside, it just lands on this little tray where the motor sits above it. So after about an hour or two, I got the machine to work again, and yeah. So back in the day, this machine would have came in two forms. There would have been this one that sat on a cabinet, and then there would be another one that was built right into the cabinet. So you'd have the record player on top, and then the cabinet would be attached to it. This one is the portable model, so you could pick it up and carry all 50 pounds of it to another room. This thing is heavy. This cabinet here is not original to this machine. You can clearly tell by the stain color, and it just doesn't look the period, to be quite honest with you. I have another cabinet right here. This is another record cabinet. You can clearly tell because there's the shelves to put the records in, and this drawer would have had the needles and other accessories. Unfortunately, this is for a smaller model. This probably was possibly for one of those Edison phonographs or gramophones, whatever you call them. So I was browsing around on Kijiji, and this is what the original cabinet would have looked like if it was ordered with the machine. You can see how the feet line up in the corners, and the bottom of the cabinet has an ornate look to it. Here's a close-up shot of the cabinet with the doors open. You can see the different shelves for all the records and the record player that sat on top. Oh well, I hope to find a cabinet just like this one, but in that color. But I don't think I will, just because they're very rare. When these record players were new, you could order from the catalog. The cabinet was not included. You had to pay for that separately. This was basically an affordable model. Schools would have used them, community centers, just stuff like that. I think it was rare to see these in a home because everyone had the full cabinet model to put all the records in. This was kind of used in the educational area and whatnot. Anyway, enough going on about that. Let's take a look inside the cabinet and see what we have. So here you can put your needles. You'd have an area for new needles and an area for the spent needles. Kind of like what's going on up here. These are the new needles, and this is where you would put the spent ones. And then you just pick that up and crap. Yeah, remember to use both hands when when picking up the needle holder. Shit. But the best part about these needles is that they're magnetic, so yeah, you know, it's just crap. I should have known better than to pick it up like that, but you know what, it happens. Thank God Stewie's here to help me. And now I gotta look for the ones that are on the floor, because that's gonna hurt. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. I'll be right back. Well, since I was a blithering idiot and dropped the needles all over the place, I get to lift this turntable up just to see if I happen to have dropped any inside, because that's not going to be good. Son of a bitch. Underneath is where the motor's mounted, right under this outlined square. That's the drive shaft motor for the platter. And over in the right corner up here is the brake clutch. This is what stops the turntable from moving. I'm just going to zoom in on that. You can see that there's a red little nub on the end. That is that is the top of a eraser head mouse from an IBM ThinkPad. The original brake clutch on here is so worn out that when you apply it, it makes this horrible screeching sound. So this is my ingenious brake clutch right now, and it works brilliantly. Okay, now I gotta put this back on while the motor is spinning it. I can't stop it either, or maybe I can. I oiled it so well that it keeps spinning every time when I try to stop it. Before, if I would stop it in its tracks, it would take quite a bit of effort to get it going again. Oh, fuck it. I'll just put the platter on anyway. Okay, I got the platter back on. That was a pain in the ass, but it's back on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change out the needle. I'm going to zoom in on that. There it is right there. And just untwist that. Pop the needle out. And then we pop it in the spent needle pile. There we go. I'm telling you, this is really annoying because I'm trying to look through a camera screen and do this at the same time. It's not fun at all. So that's loaded. Down here is the speed governor. When the record player spins up, there's this needle down here, and it eventually moves up. And it has a number written down here that says 78. You have to twist this knob until that needle gets to 78. That way you know it's playing at the right speed. On the right side of the machine we have the crank, and you have to crank this up, and I got a wobbly cabinet here. There, she's wound up. This is an original Victrola talking machine record sleeve. These are the different styles of cabinets you would have bought. This is just the few that they had. And these are some of the albums that were available. Kind of like a recommendations list. Okay. So the record that we're going to be playing is You're Wonderful by Nat Shilkret and the Victor Orchestra. I'm gonna pop this one off. Now, some of these records are really scratched and worn, so they might not sound that great, but I don't know. This is my favorite. Okay, and we're going to open the doors down here. This is your volume control. The more that they're closed, the muffled the sound. The wider that they're open, the louder the sound. I'm going to leave them just partway open. Now, it might not sound that great because, again, the reproducer, the gasket is worn, but we're just going to make the best of it. Okay, we're at 78 RPM. There we go. So we're going to play the other side. And as my camera battery doesn't croak on me. If you want to hear more of the great music that was demonstrated in this video, you can simply visit my Facebook page called Classic Victrola Records. You can find a link in the video description below, or you can type in on Google at Classic Victrola Records, and it will be the first link on Google. Once the page is loaded, you'll see the cover photo that says Victrola Talking Machine, and the profile picture will have the reproducer tone arm on the record. Click the like button so you can receive constant updates and videos of the machine or new records coming out. The 2 songs that you heard in this video will be added to this page as an archive, so that way many people can enjoy it.